Welcome back, fans of the SportsCast. This episode 6 is your boy Dre, Alex, and Albert. I know we're all wearing the same fit. We're just wearing the last episode because we're recording them back to back. Y'all know we missed an episode last week, so I'm gonna give y'all two this week. The double cheeseburger special. You feel me? But this episode is gonna be more about college. We're gonna do just our bowl game predictions, pretty much. So we're gonna start with the New Year's Six. No, actually, we'll start with the playoff games. Then with the New Year's Six, and we'll kind of just go from there. So, start off, we'll start with the Sugar Bowl, which is Washington versus Texas. We'll start with Albert. Who do you have in that game and why?
I have Washington 31-24. The reason for that is because Washington's offense is just out of this world. Michael Penix is playing the best at his career. He's got really great weapons such as Romeo Dunze, and I think the defense is also elite. But at the same time, so is Texas. They're going into the SEC next year, and they're building up their team in order for them to compete for the SEC next year. I mean, they could still shock the world and win and prove that they could still be back. Because, they love to be back, but sometimes they aren't.
It's our year this year.
They could be this year, but I don't know. But just as of right now, I have Washington winning 31-24.
Okay, how about you, Alex? What you got in this one?
So, I think Albert's about right. Washington hasn't faced a defense like Texas is all year. I think Texas is the more talented team. And they face more talented opponents. I mean, yeah, Washington's played some good teams. Oregon comes to mind and all that. But I would put the Big 12 over the the Big 12 over the Pac-12 any day of the week. I mean, that's just me. That's just what I think. And I think who you play matters. And Washington's got a good team. Michael Penix Jr. is playing lights out this year. I mean, he was a Heisman candidate. Like, dude's good. But Washington's defense, which is one of the better ones in the Pac-12, is not going to be able to stop Texas's offense. And that being said, Washington's going to have to come over some adversity playing against that defense that Texas has. So, honestly, I'm thinking Texas takes it. I'm going to say 34. I'll say 34-24.
Okay, that's a fair score.
Yep.
So, for me personally, I'm gonna be realistic. I'm gonna give who I want to win. I'll be realistic, right? I want Washington to win, right? Because I don't want Texas fan come to SEC next year like, oh, we're gonna run the SEC, stuff like that. I'm just like, no. But I would. I'm gonna be, like I said, I'm gonna be a realist. I believe Texas is gonna pull this one out. I feel like it's not gonna be a blowout, but it's also not gonna be very close either. I feel like the score will say it's close, but I feel like Texas is gonna pretty much dominate this game. They're gonna be dominant on both sides of the ball. Washington defense, they played good against Oregon, but I feel like, Oregon's more of a high-flying, passing offense. Washington has good DBs, but I feel like Texas, like the interior, the O-line, all that stuff, and I feel like Texas is going to almost dominate. It's going to feel like a dominant game for Texas, and I feel like Texas is going to pull this one out. I say they put a 40-piece on them. I'll say the score for me would be 42 to like 30. 31 or something like that. I said the score seemed close, but I feel like Texas was going to dominate the game, like in time of possession and stuff like that. But, they have a long time to prepare for this game as well, Washington. So you never know. Any given Saturday, right? Washington has ample amount of time to prepare for Texas, and they'll play a big, role in it as well. So, but yeah, I feel like I'm pretty confident of Texas winning that one pretty hefty. And then for the next one, we're going to go into the Rose Bowl, which is Michigan versus Alabama, man. I'll start with this one. I want Michigan to win. And I think they're going to win. Let's go. Go blue. Go blue, baby. Go blue. Because you know why? I hate Alabama. You know why? Because F from that's why. I almost slipped, but I didn't slip. F from that's why. But realistically speaking, I think Michigan's going to win that because Auburn able to run the ball pretty well on them, right? We had a lot of rushing yards on them. And if we can run the ball on them, then I know for sure Michigan can run the ball on them. So I feel like Michigan's going to dominate in the run game. They're going to, handle Bama front seven pretty well, decently well. The only thing I'll be kind of weird on, you could say, is someone's making a lot of noise. I don't know what that is. But I feel like Alabama they're going to come out and they're going to get kind of dominated at first. And then it's going to be too late for them to come back and win pretty much. And I feel like Michigan is going to take this one with a score of 21-17. My score, 21-17. It's going to be a good defensive game. But I'll say 21-17. Moreau, yeah, they got Moreau and all that stuff, but I feel like Michigan's defense is going to hold pretty solid against Alabama. Alex, what do you think about that?
I see your point. And I'm with you. I don't want Alabama to win that football game. Obviously, I mean, there's a whole song about how much Tennessee fans hate Alabama.
War damn.
Go ball, baby. But I just don't see it. Michigan is a good team, and I think this is one of the better teams Michigan's had in a while. But Nick Saban brings just a whole new level of football, and with any team that he's coaching. I mean, Alabama's down years are still some pretty good years compared to everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And honestly, I don't put too much stock in the Iron Bowl because it's the Iron Bowl. I mean,
it's the best game of the year, man.
It's one of the best games. Okay,
it's the best game of the year, man.
I mean, it's better than our rival game, Vandy. That's a rival game.
That's your rival. Okay, yeah. Your opinion is irrelevant, but anyways,
it's not our rival. Anyway, point being, I think Alabama takes it in a close game. I'm gonna say 21-24. Last minute field goal by Alabama to win the game. And I know what you're thinking. Alabama misses a lot of field goals. Trust me, I know. I love it. But I think Alabama just is the better team. And I think they faced better competition than Michigan has this year. And I just think that the reason why Alabama was even in that, position is because, they faced Texas. I mean, Texas is a good team, But as the season has progressed, Texas has gotten better. So has Michigan. But I just think Alabama has faced more adversity as a team, and they've kind of came out on the other side of it with the W's because that team finds a way to win. They really do. They found a way to beat Auburn. They came back against us in the second half. And
but with that though, why do they always have to play from behind? They're so good. They'll be. It's kind of like what I said with Georgia, like earlier in the earlier podcast. It's like they play down to their opponent and first half something like that. It's gonna be that one team to come back and beat them with just Bama. I feel like Bama's the same way, right? Auburn could have beat them, but obviously we sold. But I feel like
fair.
Any given Saturday, that's what I'll say to that.
I hope that I'm wrong on this one because I do not want to see Alabama win another national championship. I'm just trying to be realistic. And what I think Alabama takes that game, very close game. It's going to come down to the wire. But if Michigan wins, I will happily be wrong. Happily, with a smile on my face, I will be wrong.
I'll buy me a Michigan shirt, Michigan hoodie. I'll rep Michigan for a little bit.
Go Big Blue.
Yeah, shout out to my boy Trent. He knows what's up. What do you think about that, Albert? What's your prediction for that?
Well, being a former UA student, I would really hate for Alabama to win a national championship without me. But I do think the Tide will roll 28-14. Alabama is just a very talented team, and they've always been talented every single year. And Nick Saban hasn't stopped them coaching well, so hasn't stopped recruiting well. He is a very consistent college coach, and he's only got a couple years left of coaching left. So I think he really wants this one. He really wants this national championship. He wants one more natty before he retires. So, but I don't think he'll win the national championship. I don't think he's going to win the national championship round. But I do think Alabama will take this game 28-14.
We all lived through the days, or our generation had the days of the Patriots and Tom Brady dominating every single year, right? And now look at them, the poverty franchise, right? I feel like I can't wait. I cannot wait for the day that becomes Alabama, right? When,
Amen, brother. Testify.
like when Nick Saban retires and the recruits aren't coming in as hot as they used to, and
Preach.
when they become that poverty, team again, respect to them for what they've done over the last 15 years at this point. But now I can't wait for that chapter to finally close,
Amen.
and they fall back to earth, and everything is, it will feel like it's be anybody's game at that point because every year everybody comes in expects Alabama to pretty much win or at least be in a playoff or a national championship, one of those, right? So I feel like I can't wait for. I want to see a new team kind of up there, a new team that's dominating and
Right
being
now we're
different.
seeing Georgia.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right now is Georgia's time. Although they did fall to Alabama, but Alabama weren't national championship every single year either, though. So I feel like Kirby Smart is so young. He's going to keep recruiting, keep getting those dogs on defense, and that's going to play a big part of that. But I like I said, I just can't wait until the downfall of Alabama comes because,
amen.
War damn, simple as that. All right, next we're going to get to the New Year's Six Bowls, right? Start with the Fiesta Bowl, which is Oregon versus Liberty. Do you think Liberty even deserves, now I'm not saying they don't deserve to be there, but do you think it should be a New Year's Six team? I understand they get a bowl game, but New Year's Six, I feel like they've won their little conference, CUSA conference against New Mexico State, but I feel like but I can't say that because they beat Auburn pretty bad, obviously. But I don't know. I just feel like it's gonna be one of those things as well, where it's kind of just like they're trying to test the waters with non-Power 5 team to kind of see how it goes. Kind of like how TCU's Power 5 team, yes, but if we're being honest, nobody thought they should really be there where they were.
No.
I thought so because they had a good year, but I'm not gonna lie. Also, I was also a TCU hater last year because I was like, dude, they're barely beating Baylor, and they're barely beating these smaller schools. But they did beat Michigan in the playoff, which is fair. So they earned their spot in the national championship. But we all know how that went. So I feel like right now they're committed to kind of testing the waters with putting non-Power 5 teams kind of in the New Year's Six for when the playoff come, the 12-team playoff come next year. We kind of see if they want to risk putting a non-Power 5 team in there. But back to my prediction. Obviously, it's going to be a landslide, right? Unless Bo Nix doesn't play. Other than that, it's going to be a landslide. I feel like this score is going to be pretty bad. It's pretty bad. It's going to be like, I say Oregon 42, Liberty 14. That's going to be my score prediction.
Now, TV viewership wise, I can understand putting Alabama in the playoff, even though Florida State hasn't won a game yet. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of TV viewers viewing Oregon versus Liberty. Because I think we all know this is a blowout. Yeah, I got Oregon 49-7. Oregon's a really talented team. They're way too talented to face Liberty in a New Year's Six game. But we all know what happened when Caleb Williams and USC faced Tulane 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Tulane, I believe, had a 2-point conversion to beat USC.
Oh, was it 2 years ago? I think it was last year, actually. It wasn't 2 years ago.
Maybe the NCAA is up to something. Maybe they want to see TV viewers see an upset. I mean, maybe I could see it, but
I would say let them cook, but they've been burning the house down as of recently.
Yeah. I would love to see Liberty win. Now, I do like Bo Nix, and I'm not an Oregon hater whatsoever. They're probably my favorite team in the Pac-12. Just traditionally speaking, I like the uniforms. I like the colors. Love watching Marcus Mariota play there. Seeing Bo Nix play there is dope, Oregon's always had that exciting offense where it's like, bam, we're going to score like a bunch of points, whatever. But I would love to see Liberty put up a fight, but I just don't see it. I just really don't. I'm thinking final score. I'm thinking like 48 You know, honestly, I'll give Liberty a little credit. 48-21.
That's
I'll
fair.
give
That's
them a
fair.
little credit. I think they might surprise us a little bit, but Oregon's just.
I think Liberty scores first, but then Oregon's just
I
like, all
can
right,
see
cut it
that.
out. Oregon's like, all right, chill,
Yeah,
relax,
I
pal.
think Liberty, because again, and I know I preach on this every time we bring up a Pac-12 team. Pac-12 defenses are just bad. Oregon's defense is not that great. They have a few good players, but overall, they're not good. So I think Liberty can put up 21, but Liberty's off or defense is not stopping that offense. And even with Bo, let's say Bo Nix does sit out, I still don't think it matters. I still think they're
Yeah,
going to drop 40 plus on them, and it's just they're not going to be able to keep up with the shootout with Oregon.
yeah,
They're just not there. They're just not them. They're not that team. They're not a
yeah,
Washington.
yeah,
They're not a USC in that Pac-12. They're Liberty. They are good for where they are, but when you put, to me, in my opinion, when you put them against a Power 5 school, don't
yeah.
see it. Don't see it.
So then let's move on to the Orange Bowl, right? Florida State and Georgia. So this would be the game where Florida State has to prove their point, right? That we should have been in the playoff. This is their game to prove that. And, if they do somehow win this game, then the playoff committee is going to have to, they're going to be in some heat, right? They're going to be in some heat pretty much. So I feel like that's going to be a pretty big decider. Like they're going to come out kind of like with a chip on their shoulder type deal. But I do think Georgia still kind of not dominates, but still wins this game pretty double digit win, maybe like 10 points. It's going to be closer than people think it's going to be. I do think Florida State's backup quarterback that had a concussion is going to be back, so I feel like it's going to be a closer game than what people think it's going to be. I'd say Florida State does come out. They do score some points. They get a good lead going into halftime, maybe. But Georgia does come back and win that game. I'll give that score, I'll say Dogs 31, Seminoles 21. That's what I'll say.
Hmm. I could see that. I think you're right. I think Florida State has a lot to play for. Not even really a lot to play for, just to show that, like, hey, we're undefeated, and now we just beat the SEC runner up. That's what they're trying to go for,
Yeah, yeah.
And they're trying to show that, like, hey, what happened? Like you said, they had a chip on their shoulder. Even Georgia's been hit hard by the transfer portal, but have they really? I mean, you got that team has depth at every position.
Yeah.
And depth only gets you so far, because a lot of those players probably don't have a lot of game experience, but they're still freaking great players. And overall, roster wise, even with the transfer portal and all that crap, Georgia's just the better team. I think Georgia takes that game. Like you said, I think it's going to be a lot closer. I'm going to say Georgia 34, Florida State 21. I think it's 34-21, so my final score prediction on that.
That's fair. That's fair. What do you think, Albert?
Well, I think we all know Georgia has a lot more talent than Florida State has. I mean, Jordan Travis was absolutely phenomenal for the Seminoles this season, but I mean, without him playing, I mean, there's a reason why they didn't let Florida State in the playoff, and I feel like Georgia, like, they're not going to take this. They're going to take the loss against Alabama seriously, and they're going to come back swinging in Miami. I got Georgia 35-17.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's a pretty dominant. I think it's pretty fair too.
And Carson Beck is also going to start his run for Heisman next year because we just got the news that he will be back 2024. This is the game that Carson Beck needs to play in order to prove himself that he can be a Heisman contender next year.
Yeah, it's pretty
Yeah,
fair.
fair.
So next we'll move on to the Peach Bowl, which is Penn State versus Ole Miss. I'll make this pretty quick. I think I got Ole Miss in this. I feel like their offense is pretty good. Defenses, they're not bad, they're not great either. I think Ole Miss kind of comes out scoring a lot of points against Penn State. I feel like Ole Miss going to win this game. Score 42 to, I'm going to say 34. 42-34, Ole Miss.
I'm going to go with Penn State on this one, brother. I will never cheer for Lane Kiffin. I will never predict Lane Kiffin to win. I cannot stand Lane Kiffin. I will throw a mustard bottle at him any
Yeah,
chance
yeah,
I get.
yeah. Go ahead.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, seriously, all jokes aside, though, Ole Miss is a good team. I don't think they're top-tier SEC talent. Honestly, I don't. But all jokes aside, I do think Ole Miss will win that game, though. I think Ole Miss is probably gonna, they're just better, honestly, than a Penn State team. Penn State every year they're hyped up and then they just like trickle down every year.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Penn State.
When it
Now, I
comes
mean, they
to
got
them playing Michigan and Ohio State, they'll kind of just fall off the face of the earth, pretty much.
yep. So I'm thinking it's going to be a closer game. I think talent-wise, they're more even. I think Ole Miss is still better. I'm going to go Ole Miss 28, Penn State probably 14. I think it's going to be a two-score game. But I think Penn State's going to compete, though. I think it's going to be close up until the end.
That's fair. What about you, Albert? What you think?
Well, personally, I think Ole Miss was a really good team this year. Jackson Dart played out of his mind, especially against Auburn. No, he showed off his arm and his legs. So I think I got Ole Miss winning against Penn State 28 to 17. And I think next year Jackson Dart could have a chance on going to New York next season.
Yeah, I like him too. He's pretty good.
And also they have a lot of talent in the running backs, wide receivers, and I feel like they could also develop to become good athletes in the NFL as well. Like they could become like DK Metcalf or Snoop Connor. So I feel like Ole Miss has a shot to prove themselves that they could still be in contention for the playoffs next year.
Yeah, I think that's pretty fair. Next up, we'll go with the Cotton Bowl, which is Ohio State versus Missouri. I feel like Missouri's going to win this game pretty hefty because Ohio State doesn't have a quarterback right now, pretty much.
Yep.
The quarterback left to the transfer portal. I think he went to Nebraska or Wisconsin, one of those. No, he went to Syracuse. So with that, Mizzou's going to come out guns blazing. I got Mizzou winning that one. I say 24-14, Mizzou.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean, if this was like 2-3 years ago and you look at this game, you're just like, oh my gosh, Ohio State's probably going to steamroll Missouri.
Yeah.
But that's not the case. I mean, they got something going on up there in Missouri. And, I mean, they beat us. They beat the crap out of us this year. I mean, they got that running back, man. He is good. Their quarterback was Brady Cook.
Yeah.
He's sneaky good. He's very mobile. He has good arm talent. I think Missouri takes this. I think it's gonna be like 28-14. About like what you said, around that. I think Missouri's gonna win it pretty soundly, at least by 2 scores. I really do.
Yeah.
That's my prediction.
Now, this to me sounds like a pretty 50-50 game. Even though Kyle McCord is not playing because he's transferring to Syracuse next season, I still don't feel like Mizzou has what it takes to compete against like Ohio State, which is like a big brand football team because they've dominated every single game this season except Michigan, which I believe was a close game. It wasn't bad of a blowout last year when they played in their home, but still, Ohio State still played like contenders. So, and Mizzou does have weapons. Brady Cook has been unbelievable, and he proved that when he played Kansas State and led his team to a game-winning drive with Harrison Mevis. So with 61, it was about 62, 63-yard field goal. I'd say around there. I have Ohio State winning this game 28-24. It's going to be really close, but Ohio State will come up on top.
I like that. A little switch up. I like it. Next up, we got the Citrus Bowl, Iowa versus Tennessee. Iowa has zero offense. We all know this, and Tennessee has a great defense, somewhat decent offense. They play good. They want to play good, pretty much. I'll say, but
Yeah.
the Iowa defense is amazing. I feel like it's going to play a factor. It's going to be a good, close defensive game. I will take the Vols in this one. I'll say it's going to be a very weird game. Very weird game. It's going to be like 14-3 or something like that. That'll be my score prediction. Vols on top of that one.
Well, that's fair. I mean, we have had our ups and downs on offense. Defense has looked stellar all season. I think you're right. It's going to be a defensive game, but
Be non-biased here now. Be
I'm
non-biased here
trying.
now.
Joe Milton's going to be playing. Towards the end of the season, he actually turned it on a little bit. Whatever. I think it's going to be a good game, close game. Iowa's not a bad team. I mean, they're the Big Ten runner-ups, and you're playing
Yeah.
the fourth best team in the SEC this year. We finished fourth, I think, in the SEC or fifth. No, we're not a bad team either. I mean, 8-4 regular season. It's not a bad year, as much as, I'd like to see better, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, I think it's gonna be a defensive game, but man, I just don't see Iowa competing just because simply their offense is just atrocious. I mean, I watched that Michigan and Iowa game, and yeah, granted, Michigan is probably better. They are better than us. They're in the college football playoff for Pete's sake. I mean, they're one of the best teams in the nation, if not the best. But I just don't see Iowa even scoring more than 7 that game. And this might be biased, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. Tennessee takes it 28-7. That's my score prediction. 28-7. We steamroll them.
That's fair.
Although Tennessee has been going through a downfall in their last couple games of the season, including against Georgia, they're still going to dominate against Iowa because Iowa's offense, let's admit, Iowa's offense is not good.
No.
Like they've never been.
Your audio's kind of cutting out, Albert. There it goes. There it goes.
Sorry, y'all. I'm so sorry. Do you know if we can cut that out?
Just remind me, and I will. Yeah, that's fine. Actually,
right.
I'll write it down. You're good. You're good. Go ahead.
I can definitely see Tennessee dominating this game. I'm gonna say the same thing Alex said. 28-7. Like the Iowa offense is not going to compete against the Tennessee or the SEC offense.
No.
It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I like that prediction as well. All right. So with the cherry on top to end it all, it's gonna be the best ball game ever. The Music City Bowl. Auburn versus Maryland. Right. Here's what I got out of this, right? Almost all of our teams gonna be playing, except for probably our senior safety, Jalen Simpson, and maybe a couple people here and there. So overall, most of our teams gonna be playing. Maryland does have a good offense, good high-flying offense, but I feel like Coach Freeze is kind of like gonna bounce back from the Iron Bowl loss against Alabama pretty hefty. The team's gonna be thinking about that, how they pretty much embarrassed themselves in the Iron Bowl by losing the way they did. So I think Auburn comes out on this one. I think the offense finally somewhat wakes up a little bit. There's going to be a score of 34. It's going to be a close game, though. It's going to be 34, I'll say 28. My score prediction.
That's fair. You can also look at the Iron Bowl like this. Auburn played a really good game against a college football playoff team.
Yeah,
and they did, and they showed that roster and that team that Auburn has the potential to be great. They really do. Y'all have some pieces in there that you're just like, man, this team is like,
yeah.
like
We're a couple players away, man. A couple
yeah,
players away.
And yeah, Maryland's got, correct me if I'm wrong, there's Talia Tungavailoa, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tua's younger brother who plays for Maryland, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's good. He's not Tua good, but he's good. That Maryland offense is good. They'll give teams fits, but again, Auburn plays in the SEC, not just the SEC West, which is arguably one of the best divisions in college football. Traditionally has been. I mean, you got Alabama, LSU, who had the Heisman winner this year. You know, they're playing against those teams every year, and I don't know how it's going to look going forward. That's whatever. I think Auburn's going to take that game. I think you're right. I think it's going to be a close game. I'm going to say 28-21 Auburn in the Music City Bowl.
Well, just also a fun fact going forward, the bowl, like the SEC West and East, won't exist. It'll just be the SEC as a whole. So the end of the year will just be the two teams with the best record. So
you know, I did see
hate that they're breaking it up like that, but I guess some change has to happen since Oklahoma and Texas are like far out west.
Yeah,
but yeah, we'll see how that goes next season. It's going to be real. It's going to be something for sure. It's going to be something.
Yeah.
Now there are a lot of seniors, like you just stated. There are going to be a lot of seniors out this game. I don't know if Robbie's going to be in the roster this game because he has just entered the transfer portal. I've gotten the news about it a couple days back, and I've also written an article about it through you can find it on the Eagle Eye TV website.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's going to be a close game because Auburn has that SEC defense that could give Maryland a very hard time. But I don't even know if Talia is even going to play. This is his last year. Am I correct?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
I believe so. I think he is senior this year. I think. Yeah.
Well, it really just depends. If Talia plays, I think he could possibly give Auburn's defense a hard time. But at the same time, I feel like Auburn's defense will dominate Maryland's. Auburn's defense will dominate Maryland's offense, and I don't think it will be a very high scoring game. I think it will be 21-17 Auburn.
See
That's
that?
pretty fair. That's pretty fair. But overall, we got a lot of good bowl games, for New Year's Six and college football playoff, and just a couple spread out here and there. Couldn't cover all of them, obviously, but I feel like overall it's going to be a good bowl season. A lot of teams going bowling. I feel like next year is going to be even better. I can't wait. This season pretty much done at this point, so I can't wait for next season. We probably got like 2 or 3 more episodes of college football talk, pretty much.
Sad.
And yeah, it's coming to an end, sadly. But once that ends, we'll pick up on basketball, stuff like that. But man, this was a great episode. We appreciate everyone for watching, man. Again, this is just bowl predictions. We'll see how the bowl games play out. Next episode probably right around New Year's, like January 3rd, 4th, after the bowl games are all over. We're gonna talk about everything, how the bowl games went, things like that. But yeah, again, sorry for missing last week's episode. Like I say, I get a double cheeseburger this week, so enjoy that. This was your boy Dre, your boy Albert, and your boy Alex. This is a good episode. Great. It's great being back in front of the fans again, man. I love the energy. Love all that stuff, man. Make sure you share it with your friends, your family, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, whatever. Share it with them all. But again, it was nice talking to everybody. I'll see y'all next episode. We'll see y'all next episode. Peace out, gang.